Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the DJ Force X podcast. And I'd love to welcome back to the show Izzy Reign. Welcome, Izzy.
Hi, thanks again for having me.
No worries at all. It's been when we last on July last year.
Yeah.
Was the sort of round about that time, I believe. Actually, I should know there are release dates for my thing, and I think it was around July. Uh,
Mhm.
so, but at that point, you'd release or just about to release Sunken Place, I believe it was around there, the single.
Believe so,
Um,
yeah.
Yep. And obviously since then, because in the first sort of like podcast and everything, we went through origin stories and your journey up until then. So we're going to kind of sort of see where you are in these last sort of, where are we now? 7 months, 6 months, 7 months?
Yeah, somewhere in
7 months.
there.
Yeah.
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 Time's
Um,
flying.
it is. It's crazy. I was like thinking about it before I was doing it. I was like, no, it has, but that time is gone. Um, but yeah, you released a bunch of singles between there, including your Halloween cover, which we talked about during the last time you were on here, which was very cool. It was Living Dead Girl, Rob Zombie, for anyone who didn't
Mhm.
realize who that was. But yes, a very good cover. Enjoyed it thoroughly.
Oh,
And it got played in my club and everything like that. So
nice.
I love a good cover, especially if it's Halloween related. And I was intending on releasing my own, but I didn't get to do it. So this year, I'm gonna do my cover of something. Yes, that was my plan, kind of scuppered for whatever. I can't remember what happened around that time. No,
Yeah, life.
yeah, life. Yes, blame life, work and life. But you released Spooky Scary Skeleton as well, which is great little like slow note, like slow, dark, very
Yeah.
cool song. Your Entertainer as well was another track. Pandora's Box, and most recently, Pandora's Box remix by
Hmm.
Figure, which was
Yeah.
awesome. I love a good drum and bass VIP remix.
Nice.
Um, and that falls right into my sort of rock and metal sets that I like to dance music. So that was awesome. But yeah, I mean, over that time, how have you felt like, because obviously, with Fixed and the sort of release schedule you've had with that and getting the exposure and building profile and all that, how have you found that over the last sort of like, I mean, let's go sort of year because you've been with Fixed for a little while, but like this past year has been, I'd say, I want to say busy or hectic, or maybe, maybe it's good for you. I don't know. But yeah, how's it been for you?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Busy and hectic. But it's been good. It's been for the most part, it's been very, very consistent, which is something I was heavily lacking on before, so I'm very grateful for
Yeah.
it. Um, Whole lot of content all the time. But it's definitely helped with growth significantly. Which is good for me, obviously. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's been fun. It's been interesting. It's been cool building, the fan base that I have that I didn't before, and the community that I have that I didn't have before is also wonderful and consistently growing. So very grateful for that.
Nice.
But yeah.
Excellent, excellent. I mean, obviously, I've been watching you with watching you rise. I suppose is the best way of putting it in respect to like I've seen that fan base grow. I've seen the more sort of I can look at metrics, I can look at views, so but I can see that all increasing. And general people like I can mention your name and people know who you are, things like that, which is good. Like that's what you want, really, isn't
Yeah.
it? And it's all important because what we're going to talk about in a minute is the next step in this evolution of Izzy Reign. But yeah, no, it's been fascinating to watch, and the music videos you put out and everything were great. I think it was it which one was it where you were in the basically you were spitting blood. I can't remember.
Sandman.
Man, that was it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, that video was amazing. I loved it. Like it was totally psychotic, but totally wonderful at the same time. And I'm sure that was the aim.
Yeah.
I hope. But yeah, no, I mean, how have you found like recording all those videos and stuff? Because like obviously music videos are another part to this leg of making music and art and things like that. And how have you found putting your like the Izzy Rain onto that?
Oh, dude, it's been so much fun. So who I do all of my very professional looking videos with is their company name is Black Wolf. His name's Alex. Incredible guy. His portfolio is probably overwhelmingly large at this point, so he's ever growing. He and I work, I feel very well because he thoroughly enjoys how weird I want to get with all of the videos, and he's like, this is so much fun. I love doing this type of stuff instead of just like, no shade to anybody, but like, it's a band that's playing the song. He's like, this is
Yeah,
like a borderline a movie. So it's been really interesting and fun to be able to put kind of like cinematic weirdness into a music video, and like making, the Izzy Reign experience literally an experience, not just like here's a music video to a song that you wrote. It's like you wrote this song that is this crazy adventure and then you made visuals for it that also is absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, it's definitely been fun and I'm very grateful to be working with the people that I work with. So
fantastic.
yeah.
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 I can see you're enjoying it. Obviously, like I say, I've watched you grow in this
Yeah.
flower of talent and everything coming out here. But it's like you post the behind the scenes stuff. You post
Mhm.
videos, content regarding making those music videos, and they look like a lot of fun to
Oh,
look
it's so
at.
much fun.
Just like and
The
I enjoy.
videos are
Yeah,
fantastic. No stress.
no, it's all good. That's good. That's good because they can get, yeah, even if it's just a band playing in a room, it can get
Hmm.
stressy. I've been on that side of things, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's as simple as you want. That you want, I just want a simple band playing video, and it can be the most complex thing in the world and stressful.
Yeah.
But if you can add your own cinematic flair to it and everything, it just makes it that level like more enjoyable, makes the time go quicker, and it gets more of the what you want out there as well, like to sort of engage people into Izzy Reign in this case.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that video. I wish I remembered what the name of the song was.
Yeah.
I do love that video. But you obviously you like did the Halloween cover, which you talked about with Living Dead Girl.
Mhm.
And how did you find that? How did you find the reaction to that? Because obviously Rob Zombie is well, it's iconic. He's iconic in that respect. And like that song as well is like one of his sort of staple songs. Sort of over the years, like you say, Rob Zombie, you either go horror movie related or you go Dracula,
Hmm.
Dead Girl,
Yeah.
or you go what if you're as old as me, you go White Zombie,
Yeah.
you go Electric Head, you go more human than human. Um,
Mhm.
but how, like with that particular song, how did you find the reaction to that? Like releasing something because I know you've released Halloween covers before, but they were, that I guess they were sort of like it was like Nightmare Before Christmas cover and stuff,
Hmm.
Halloween and things like. But how did you find tackling that as well?
Um, so it was actually quite an interesting way to go about this. Originally, that wasn't even the first plan. We were going to do something entirely different, but ended up switching our path relatively last second. But I'm glad that we did what we did. And the reactions that we've got were way better than I thought we were going to get. I'm not going to lie. I thought people were going to be like, oh, it's, and not only, and you're your own worst critic, but for me, like for instance, all of the other Halloween covers, they are a totally different style music. And I took that different style music and I made it like me, like it's an alternative version of that song. This, however, it is tricky to take a song that is such a similar genre to what you already do and still make it your own.
Yeah.
So in itself, it was quite the challenge to make sure that it wasn't just like a karaoke cover. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was definitely interesting, but I think all in all, with the stuff that we ended up doing, it turned out really good. So
No, it was a great cover. Like like totally agree. And you did make it your own. That was the great
mhm.
thing because, like you said, when you sort of tackle those similar genres,
Mhm.
in taking like taking another rock song, taking another whatever, and if you're in that genre, it's very difficult to kind of put your print on it because
Mhm.
you know how it's supposed to sound. You're used to how it's supposed to sound.
Yeah.
You've heard it probably more than most other songs that you would have
Yeah.
potentially covered.
Yeah.
Um, Whereas if you took, a pop song or, anything along, the sort of general mainstream, different genre, let's just say different genre, then yeah, you can kind of put those, you can tag the heavy guitars, the heavy bass, all that kind of stuff onto it, but you can put yourself into it and make it completely yours. Um,
Yes.
Even if it follows this obviously a same structure, chorus, verse, whatever, all that kind of stuff. But with your voice, your sound, your the way you record it, the way you produce it, the way you kind of
Hmm.
dig in. Yeah, no, and you definitely made that your own. It was, like I said, it's a fantastic cover, and I'll be playing it again next year.
Thanks.
Well, this year now. Sorry, we are in this year. But yeah, I mean, you also hit us with Spooky Scary Skeleton, which you talked about a second ago. Your Entertainer, and like I say, most recently, the remix of Pandora's Box, which was a single you released last year as well.
Mhm.
Um, but what I want to talk about is what's coming, or what should be out by the time this comes to fruition, when this is released to the people.
Yes.
You will have an album of material available for people to download, to purchase, to listen
Yeah.
to put it as simply as that. You'll have a whole work of Izzy Reign, and I'd like to get like what can people expect from it? What are the obviously you've got a couple of songs due out before it. So the time of recording this, guys, it's about a month or so before things out. So it's going to come out like around anyway. Um,
We'll get there.
yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. But I just want to I want to find out about this album because I'm in a weird position of not hearing it. Now, normally I'd have a copy of some kind, be it a stream link or anything like that, and I'd be able to hear it and be able to comment on it. But I
Mhm.
mean, I've heard all your singles, so I'm assuming some of those are on there.
Mhm.
Am I right? Okay,
Yep.
cool. So I have had a sampling, which is fantastic. So that's what I was sort of listening to before we sort of start recording here and everything, and it's on you're on my playlists. If that means anything to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Car
I'll take it.
playlist. But yeah, no, what can people expect from the album? I mean, I don't even have a name for it yet. So if we could possibly go from there, um, yeah, and then just see what I can find out about it.
Yeah, well, to answer your question and many others, it is self-titled, so it is just
Hey,
Is Rain. Yes,
nice.
so we did that with the purpose of the fact that this album, which I might have mentioned before, every single song, like individual song, portrays pre-therapy me. So
Yes.
they're all about my brain and my head and my quote unquote demons, which are in all of my music videos and on all of my merch and stuff, that you see.
Yep.
Um, so I picked each individual song to kind of represent that. So what a better name than Izzy
Yeah.
Reign? Um, but yeah, what to expect, I would say, from this album is variety. Definitely variety. There is something for someone guaranteed on this song. It doesn't matter because I incorporated all of the different styles of music that I did. Um, except I think probably like country, maybe.
You didn't
But
go.
other than that, I didn't do any.
You didn't do
But there
Carter
are,
Rain.
yeah, there's quite a bit. I think I nailed almost every other style of music though, at least at some point, hints of it or like a certain vibe of different major genres of music that are in there. So there's definitely a song for everyone. Which you've heard what you've heard so far. Some of them are more radio bound, some are more absolutely chaotic and like what am I even listening to? And some of them are, heavier, or some are more super pop sounding, or super electronic. So you have kind of a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Um by the time this comes out, uh there's for sure two songs that will be out, so everybody will already have heard them, which I'll just tell you about. It's fine.
Yes, please,
um,
please, please.
um the album, who knows, it depends, we'll see. But almost every song that is out at this time will be on the album. The only ones that are not are songs like pre-Revenant. So Revenant, Extra Extra, and I don't even know if anything else is even up there anymore. But from Broken by Design and forward, all of those songs will be on this album.
Okay,
Uh,
cool.
but there will be two songs on the album that are not out as singles. So once you get the album, you'll have those two as well to listen to that you wouldn't have gotten as individual things being posted. So unless you get that album or you listen to the album, you won't know. And I like them a lot, and I think they're very powerful. But I'm glad that we saved those for the album.
Yeah.
Uh, but the two songs that would have just come out at this point, the first one is called Phobos, which was the 14th of February. That song is probably a more radio bound one,
Okay.
but it is also the song very much so kind of walks around the concept of panic attacks. So the way that I wrote this was I really wanted to give you the feeling, the same feeling that it feels like when you're in the middle or experiencing the panic attack from start to finish.
Yeah.
So even though it is very much so a more radio style song, it is still pretty intense, you know. So
I am compelled to listen to, like, I can't wait to hear that tomorrow.
yes, I
Um,
absolutely love it.
that sounds amazing. Like, if you made it more radio bound, it's that kind of like, okay, it's going to sound such and such way. But
Yeah,
a panic attack, I mean, I've had them. And yeah, ooh, yeah, I mean, hopefully it won't trigger,
I
but
think I honestly think that we'll see though. We'll see when this comes out if I'm right. But I think this one might be one of the bigger ones off the
okay,
album.
cool.
Just because it's both digestible and also like, you know, like it's an experience.
Good.
Um, so this, and then the one following, which is sometime in early March. I think it's the 7th or 8th or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
Um, but that is my heart and soul. And it's specifically because I grew up listening to a whole lot of like 90s techno and like early 2000s techno. So
Nice.
I wanted to write a techno song. So I did.
Fair
And
enough.
we sat down and it is indeed a techno song. So it is, like I said, there's a song for everybody on this whole album. And
Yeah.
this one's straight up like, I don't even know, like tattoo style kind of vibe of a
Okay.
song, but it is indeed, it's the saddest song on the album, but it is the most excitable, like party sounding, you know, like club vibe.
Yeah.
And I did that on purpose because I don't think a lot of people really actually think about it, but unless you're like, you know, you listen to a lot of techno, almost every single techno song you'll ever listen to is sad. They're all sad. Like it got like obviously got like Venga Boys, which is all just like excited and whatever, but like
Yeah.
real, you know, genuine techno or like rave sounding stuff growing up, a lot of the lyrics are really like sad or heartbreak or whatever, you know. So I definitely wanted to incorporate that, like make that the contrast that normal techno did. And um I love it. There might be a bunch of people that go, what is this?
Look forward to that as well. Like, I mean, growing up when I did like a lot of obviously 90s techno, that's my teenage years, basically,
Mhm.
to put an age on myself. But yeah, like obviously, I mean, you mentioned Tattoo just there. And obviously that was we only really had one big track from them over here, but they were everywhere at one point. But yeah, techno generally, obviously being over in Europe, that sort of area, it's the sort of birth ground of the techno movement, no matter what sort of branch of it you follow. A lot of it comes out of sort of European
Yes,
areas. Obviously, Tattoo are Russian. Venga Boys are French.
I think so. Yeah.
I
And
think,
then
so yeah, just sort of that sort of area. And obviously, England has its own techno branch as well. I can rattle off their names like just like that.
yeah,
I
so
won't.
many.
I always talk about them.
Yeah.
But they were
Yeah.
so good. I've got record CDs of all that from back then.
Yeah.
But no, I'm looking forward to that. Like that sounds interesting as well. Like I do miss a good techno track. Don't
Mhm.
get them so much these days. Obviously, there is a sort of small movement going on here with various artists. I think Venga Boys is one of them. There seems to be kind of not weird, a small resurgence in that in sort of clubland.
Mhm.
I think it's an age thing where a lot of people that are going out are sort of maybe the older generation, or it is literally just the kids picking up on stuff now because it's
Yeah,
coming back around again.
which is
Um,
great, and I love that.
oh yeah, no, totally, totally, and it's happened with new metal, and I'm loving that. So it's great that these kids are picking up. My kids are picking up stuff that I'm like, how did you hear this? Weird, like, but it's the
Mhm.
it's TikTok, it's
I
real.
know. It's
It's,
very,
it's like one day I hope my music gets picked up randomly, and
I
suddenly
know.
be like, a little bit of interest in it, but that won't happen. I know it won't happen. So,
Hey,
um,
you never know. Okay, trust
oh
me.
yeah, yeah. No, if anyone's watching, they know who I am. So, um, but no, that sounds amazing. I mean, obviously, and you're saving a couple of tracks for the album itself, which is great because I know with the sort of the way Fixed like to release stuff, it's like pretty much most of the album and then a couple of tracks on the said collection of things.
Mhm.
What I love about your stuff is each song has its own life as well. Like the ones you've like, it's obviously Sandman, Into Oblivion, Your Entertainer as well. Like we've all got their own thing with it. And like you said, it's your pre-therapy self.
Yes.
So it's sort of it's going into obviously those sort of aspects of your life and everything, but giving it a life, but also I kind of, I guess it gives you kind of almost closure on it almost, or it's kind of like this was what this was, and
Mm,
you've summed it up because it's different ways people sum it up. Obviously, being a musician like yourself, you can kind of put it into music.
yeah.
If you were a painter, you put it into pictures.
Yes.
You have multi art outputs, so you've got
Yeah.
that music videos and everything as well. And I implore people to go watch the Sandman video because it's great. Actually, watch the Into Oblivion video as well. Um, yeah,
That one was actually filmed here too. That wasn't even like an Alex thing. We just were like, let's make a cool, creepy lyric video, and throw it up because the song is too cool. So
yes,
yeah.
yes, no, no, it's great. It's great. No, I'm just very excited for you, honestly, because it's like, like there's a few artists that I like. I mean, I've been following you quite a while. I say quite a while. About, it's over a year. That's quite a while. It's good for me. Um, but like just sort of watching you grow. I love watching these artists grow. I love to be sort of, that tiny part of people's journeys as well when I get on these shows and stuff like that, and play your music out to people and all that kind of stuff. So it's great to see this progress and great to see an album, like an
Mhm.
album. Um, yeah, obviously that's coming out. What did we say? March 21st. Is
Yeah,
that
I believe so. I think that's the whole album drops, I think, on the 21st, if I'm not
okay?
mistaken.
Cool.
You
So
think I would know this by now, but
yeah, yeah, but like you say, I've been honest with the viewers, if they're watching or listeners, that I don't have this. I haven't heard it. I'm just very much looking forward to it.
yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I mean, what the sort of like, obviously with the album coming out and everything, what are your sort of like plans on that? Obviously, I know you like to put up content. I know you do a lot of streaming, and vocal take videos and things like that. I've noticed you doing a lot of those recently. But what the sort of like outside of the sort, because I want to talk about the Twitch streaming and stuff anyway. But what outside of that are you planning any kind of like potential live type situations, anything like that? Is that on the horizon, or are you still kind of studio based at this time?
So we live in quite the chaotic situation. Couple things. One, goal absolutely to do at least a 2 week run at some point this year, probably later on, like towards fall. If it happens, it'll be during then. There is no concrete plan yet. I still have so much to do beforehand, between building the fan base and hopefully this album comes out and people are like, oh my God, I want to see that live. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And it blows up enough to where I know confidently that the money that I sink in, which is probably, it's 10, 12 grand that I'm gonna have to fork out of my own pocket to even get going out there, that it'll at least be recouped to zero out by the time I get home, like between like merch sales and stuff. And on top of that, I do have to hire in a band, and I have some people in mind, so it's not like super stressful or anything, but I will have to pay them, which is totally fine and super expected. But the person who I have that would be doing live sound also does live sound for other bands, so I have to make sure that they're available to do those as well. Um, as far as anything else, yes, a ton of content. Constantly still working on new music for anything that's done after. We'll probably let this sit for like a year or so before any new music comes out, or at least that the start of the next album. But definitely working. I've already been constantly working on music, so that never stops. But yeah, I fingers crossed. Hopefully that all goes well, because if it does, then we're good. But as of right now, no super concrete.
Okay. No, that's fair. That's fair. Because I think last time when I spoke to you as well, it was the same sort of situation. It was like, again, trying to get out there. Obviously, you've got to make it, work for you financially, like on that front, because it is a big commitment. And like you've already kind of you put that price on it. And yeah, realistically, that's what it's going to cost, isn't it? For even for a 2 week holiday, if you will.
Yeah.
I'd like to like coin it as, because I remember going on tour and I got to explore places, which was great. And then you work a couple of hours in the evening, but then the rest of the time you're out doing what you
Yeah.
or traveling, depending on how far you are between things. But no, I know the realistic cost of all that, and obviously I know there are people that want to hear you. There are a couple of people over here that have expressed the interest in if you will be over here and things
I
like
love
that. And I know that's an even more expense because I know what that involves with
Yeah.
visas and all that kind of stuff, which is, not what musicians need to deal with. You
Yeah.
need people to deal
In
with that
time. I
in
swear.
time. In time. But no, there was like definite express because I got a couple of friends who are really into your stuff and a couple of the other fixed artists as well, and they were just like, "Can you ask her if she's coming over at all?" And I was like,
Mhm.
"Still independent, still don't, still kind of thing." But no, obviously they can watch this and they can see the realistic cost. But maybe they know someone. Who knows?
Yeah, help me blow it up, and then the faster that I grow, the faster I'll get there. That's pretty much
Yes,
what we can do here, because the equipment to that I need for the live rig is what really is going to be the most expensive part.
yes. Yeah, I was gonna say you must have like obviously you're gonna have a sort of production piece, if you will, but you've also got to have
Yeah.
your live stuff, which obviously renting stuff like that is, or even getting it over from like travel
Yeah,
is a pain in the
a little
backside
bit.
a little bit. And you don't know if it's going to get to the other side in one piece. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
But we never know. You never know. You might get lucky. Someone might be able to help you out with that, which should be great on that front. But like actually, what was the other thing I was going to ask you? Have you got any like kind of like I guess dream collaborations that you'd like to sort of have? Obviously, you got this album coming out. I don't know if anyone's guesting on it or anything like that, but if you were to have anyone, um, who would you like to? I'm going to say outside of fixed, uh, but who would you like to collaborate with?
Man, well, there's quite a bit of people, and I know I've probably said like as far as much larger artists than myself, Kim Dracula is always cool.
Mm,
But I think that's so funny. You're like not fixed people, but me and High Society, we are always chatting it up, and I would love to work with them.
cool.
But oof, man, that is kind of tough, honestly. I feel like I would like to work with someone that's not exactly in my standard genre of music, something that's a little bit outside of it.
Okay.
So it's hard. Like these are like major artists, but somebody had asked me that a while ago, a couple and like artists like like Missy Elliott, for instance.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's
absolutely
fair.
love her. I would die for that. Aurora is another one. Imogen Heap is another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I said, Kim Dracula. All of those would be absolutely nuts. But I would love to work with them for so many different reasons. And then there's just I don't know, like even like not as big artists, there's like I so one of the bands that I either work with or friends with that they're growing, and I'm just gonna throw them out in general, is Archers, and they're always doing incredible stuff. I absolutely love them, and I think every song they put out is like a 10 out of 10. So I wouldn't be opposed to doing something with them or something in the realm, uh but yeah, there's a ton of like really awesome artists right now that would be pretty cool to kind of mend with and like see how that stuff goes. But those would be my big ones
No,
for
that's cool.
sure.
That's kind of where I wanted to go with it. Like, and it's outside of your genre, if you will. But
Mm,
Missy Elliott, like, legendary. Legend.
absolutely. 10
Yeah.
out of 10.
And I did say dream collab. I did say what, you want.
Yeah.
I wasn't limiting it. The only thing I'd limit it is to someone who is alive.
Yeah.
Because I've kind of asked the question before and it's like, oh, Jim Morrison or Kurt Cobain. I'm like, well,
Yeah. I would do like
not
Prince,
gonna happen.
or yeah.
Yeah, Prince.
That
Yeah,
would
exactly.
be
Actually saying that, you probably could do it now because they did that thing with John Lennon last
yeah, I know
year.
it's so
Put that
weird.
thing together. Yeah,
Like,
that was
what?
so weird. And it won a Grammy for best rock performance. I'm like,
Crazy.
rock performance? Did they perform that?
Like, wait a minute.
Hang on, two of them are no.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, I digress on that one. That's a totally different conversation, but it's possible. But yeah, no, like I said, I want to talk a little bit about the streaming, if that's all right, and the
Mm,
video game streaming stuff. And I know you kind of did that before, but it seems to be like you're getting more people on that now, and
yeah.
it's really growing for you. And I was just I want to sort of explore that side of things because we've got International Women's Month coming up, and one of my sort of things that I'm sort of doing with it, I think this is gonna be out in March, so yes, is sort of like women in gaming.
Mm,
That's my sort of thing. I'm sort of I guess promoting on behalf of this. Like I work for a company that kind of pushes it doesn't push it, that's the wrong word, but celebrates International Women's
mm,
Month. And last year I did DJs.
Nice.
female DJs, and I highlighted them, and I really want to do because my kids play games. They're both girls, and they play video games and stuff, and I just want to sort of talk about that for a little bit, if that's all right. Like
Yeah,
being a female, I'm assuming. I didn't ask beforehand.
that's totally fair. That's understandable.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I just wanted to sort of get your like your experience really. I'm about to go to a gaming convention tomorrow as well, gaming developers convention, I should say, not like just going there to play games, new games,
That sounds
but
fun.
it's for developers. It is. It was a former guest on my show, and they run a thing called Crimson Gaming, and they do music and stuff like that for gaming and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, I just want to get your experience on it. So how have you found that the Twitch streaming experience for gaming?
One, I absolutely love it. I think it's so much fun. And I think, obviously there's the excitement of playing games or like new games in general or, whatever. But my favorite part, I think, about Twitch streaming and I use Discord, which people are always welcome to join the Discord. It's just, the Izzy Reign.
Yeah.
It's all mainly video game, but there's like a whole community of people that jump in and they like talk and they play games with me or, like suggest games. And we have like this whole chunk of world that we've created. And I could not be more grateful than how I am with those people. They are just absolutely phenomenal human beings and they're so fun to like I don't know if I'll ever meet any of them, but they're so much fun, and for me it's just great to have that in general, but I think as far as especially since I've started till now, the amount of how comfortable I've gotten into speaking into things like a camera, for instance, is very different than it was before. um I used to be absolutely terrified. Now it's just like this is just like, all right, let's go. It's today, because I'm doing it 3 times a week. I kind of forced myself into the situation to be uncomfortable.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, I absolutely love it. I adore how much, like I said, the community of it has grown, and it's been such a good two-way street between people who know me from music, seeing the gaming stuff and joining the community, or people who are there from the gaming community and seeing the music. And it's just like such a good flow. And I don't know, it's been a 10 out of 10 experience. And I encourage people to consistently build communities around them of people.
So do you find like like obviously you've got a regular sort of schedule of streaming, if you will. Do you
Mm-hmm.
find that helps to be more sort of like more present or more present, more regular with it instead of
Mm-hmm.
like one night a week? It's a couple of nights a week, and
Yeah.
it's different games as well. Because I see you play Fortnite, I see you play uh
Who doesn't play Fortnite?
true. But did you play COD as well? Did you do a COD zombie?
No, I didn't, just because right now Fortnite's like the big one that everyone's
Yes.
doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we do Fortnite on Fridays. It's just Fortnite Friday.
Yep. Yep.
And then we have on Sundays I do like game roulette. So it's usually people in the Discord.
Yep.
Like I said, join the Discord if you want to be any part of this. It's free, it's fun, it's just silly.
Fantastic.
But people leave in a game suggestion of things that they want to play, or we'll just like I'll be like, hey guys, what are we doing tonight? Like super random games, and they'll put like a list. And sometimes I'll switch in between games on Sunday, and we'll like do different stuff. A lot of the times it's games that are interactive. You can play with other people, whether it's like Jackbox or Fall Guys or Dead by Daylight. Whatever it ranges.
Daylight. That was the one because I was thinking COD Zombies, but they're by
Yeah,
Daylight.
that one.
Yes.
Yeah, um, and then Wednesdays we do one game all the way through, and it's just usually a me game. So it's people that uh don't play, but they help.
Okay.
And right now I'm playing this incredibly crazy, scary game called Visage. And I just only recently found out the people who made that video game only have that video game.
Oh,
And that's it. That's the only thing they've ever created. And I think it's called Sad Square or something like that.
okay.
But yeah, dude, these people are absolutely incredible at what they do. And man, I wish I could see what it is right out the gate, but I don't see it. But yeah, 10 out of 10 recommend. It is easily one of the most difficult and terrifying games I've ever played in my life. And it came out in 2020. So I'm hoping that they continue to make more. Um, And I only recently found out they also have a Discord, so I just joined it.
Nice, nice, excellent.
But yeah.
That's great. That's great. I mean, like where I live here in England, there's there's a town called Guildford, and it's like the hub of UK gaming.
Mm,
I say one of two hubs, I think it is, but it's one of the big ones, and it's this is where I'm going tomorrow, by the way. It's like they've got a guy called Peter Molyneux as the key speaker. He made things like Populous and Black and White and Fable and all these sort of classic like God games and stuff like that from back in the day. But it's the home of like EA have got an office in Guildford, Ubisoft have got an office in Guildford, Sega 2 Point have got like 2 Point Hospital, 2 Point things like that. They've got an office in or around Guildford, and it's like there's this massive hub of gaming a gaming community here, not just like playing, but developers. My wife works in a building that has the guys who do the tanks, War of the Tank. Oh, is it Tanks of War? I don't know. It's a free game, but you basically tanks. Go around shooting
gotcha.
other tanks. I wish I could remember it because I should have written this down. But no, she works in the same building as them. And that building is sort of like an iconic home of another gaming company that no longer exists called Bullfrog. And they develop games like Populous and Syndicate and
Mm,
classic retro games. But yeah, no, it's great. Like gaming, like community wise, it's a nice community. Uh,
yes.
and that's where I was sort of like, going with the sort of like women in gaming and stuff like that because I know there was there's a lot of bumpiness in there. Some people don't take you seriously. Some people like, typical online troll action.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to give them any kind of light on it, but there's been that kind of thing, but now there's this real shift, like industry wise. There's now like a very high percentage of I think it's like almost it's over 50 or it's 50% ish within the
Mm,
gaming like Guildford gaming because the lady I spoke to on the show is local it's a lady called Lauren and she's like part of Crimson Gaming and things like that, but she used to work for EA. She used to work for different roles within these companies, um but has seen that rise as well of like the sort of female kind of influence into gaming and
mm,
stuff. And it's great. I've got a couple of work colleagues as well who are competitive gamers. They play things like COD, much better than I ever could. Like they got the one shot sniper thing going on. My dexterity doesn't I can't even. I've tried it on multiple games and I can't get it. But they've got it, and they post up little videos online and all that kind of stuff, and it's great to sort of see that as well. And it's sort of something I'm supporting because my girls are very much into gaming, and they like to play online. They like to play Genshin Impact,
yeah.
play well, Among Us was a big one during lockdown and stuff, um, and Stardew Valley and stuff like that. All these sort of games. They play with their friends, use Discord as their communication,
Mm, yeah.
which is great because Discord. I'm glad you brought that up because Discord is a great little like tool to use,
Yes.
or I don't call it a tool, but it's got your own little kind of mini communities in it. It's like
Yeah.
when we used to have message boards back in
Yes.
the early days of the internet, the BB
Yeah.
bulletin boards. And I've got one for my rock club that I like DJ regularly monthly with, and we've got our own Discord on there. On Discord, I should say. And that's a great little community. It's building all the time. It's where people go. They obviously do the quest.
Hmm.
You're right. People just go on there and they talk with the other people that go to the club. Sometimes they all organize their own meetups, like pre-drinks or whatever for the club, or even sometimes they invite each other to shows and all that kind of stuff. And it's absolutely lovely, and it's kind of how you want communities to be. Like, there can be a lot of toxicity in there. There can be a lot of like, but I've noticed like throughout multiple Discord channels I'm on, that doesn't exist in a way that it does outside of Discord.
Yeah.
Don't know if like the lack of infiltrating, if you want to go like bots or the dead internet thing,
Hmm.
where they're just like programmed to be volatile
Yeah.
or whatever. Sorry, smack my microphone there. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I was just like, it's great to hear that it's working for you on that front. And like I said, I've been sort of tuning in and out of various streams and stuff like that, which you can play like Fortnite, because my kids play Fortnite as well. So it was kind of good. Why are you watching Fortnite?
Hmm.
Like, this young lady here, she's very good. And yeah, and obviously I play games as well, which is I like to do. And yeah, but I've got probably just a couple of quick questions left for you.
Hmm, yeah,
I don't want to keep you too long.
they're totally fun.
But well, because last time I asked you about, I think your three most pivotal records and hobbies and stuff, and I think we covered that with said there. But as we're on gaming, I'd like to go for your three most maybe pivotal games. So not necessarily your favorite games, but ones you played and kind of really got you into it, or it kind of got you into something else, or just like those games. If you can pick, I know just three. I know that's difficult, but yeah, if you have them, that I'd be love to hear them.
Oof. Okay. So I guess if it's in the concept of like what got me into gaming, so I started playing games like really, really young. We had 90s era of Super Nintendo. That was a huge deal.
Nice.
Um, so we were all playing, a bunch of games. Obviously, everybody played Super Mario and Donkey Kong and stuff like that, which I still love. There was actually this Blues Brothers game that I don't think a lot of people know about, but I loved that game.
Nice.
But honestly, I feel like the things that drove me to want to play games more, definitely the Resident Evil games growing up, like the first like PlayStation,
Yeah.
Resident Evil was awesome. Uh Devil May Cry was another one that was really big for me,
Yeah.
still is. Um these are not updated like newer games. They're just things that made me more interested. And then Metal Gear Solid is another one. But I also played like a ton of like Crash Bandicoot and like stuff like that. So it's kind of quite a bit. I like always had some consistency in that. Resident Evil probably is still going to be my biggest one though. But then like even later on, because I took quite a hiatus from playing games for a while. And like one of my favorites is still are the Little Nightmare games. And I never thought I would care about anything like that, but holy crap, those games are amazing. Like they're so much fun to play. And if anybody has ever questioned if they should play it or not, yes, you should play it. Absolutely. It's so much fun. It's like a weird side scroll Tim Burton game.
Yeah.
I love those games. And they were supposed to put out a new one this past year, but they didn't. So hopefully this year.
Yeah, I've been having disappointment on gaming releases recently. So.
But I've played some really good ones. And honestly, I like can't believe it. I was actually having this discussion that I think this Visage game might be in my top favorite games I've ever played.
Okay.
It's incredible. It's such a weird game, and it's like graphically mind blowing. And it came out, like I said, came out 2020. So it's not the most updated graphics possible, but like they did a really good job. The story is so bizarre, and the tasks that you have to do are absolutely nuts. It's one of the most challenging games, not just like mentally, but also um, control wise that
Yeah.
I've played. It's kind of a lot, but it is so much fun to play, and I've thoroughly enjoyed this, and I think it's going to be really hard to top. I'm not going to lie. So, good job to them.
I'm gonna have to check that game out.
It's
Um,
scary. It's definitely scary, and it's not made for people who don't like paranormal stuff.
no, 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 no. I will. I'm gonna. I like scary games. I mean, when you talk about Resident Evil, I remember Resident Evil when that came out, and the sort of
Yeah.
playing that game through on my PlayStation, and later on my Dreamcast, then again on my other
Hmm.
PlayStation 2, 3, 4, on my Xbox. So it's one of those franchises I've gone back to because I've had such good experiences with, like over the years.
Hmm.
And I even, bought into some of the special controller, like the chainsaw controller for I think it was Resident Evil 4,
Hmm.
and things that I remember all those sort of things. But the first ones, I know they've just like did a remaster of a lot of them as well. So
Hmm.
kind of like looking to maybe go back and play the remasters, and it's a bit like the Metal Gear Solid as well. Like Konami released that
Hmm.
remasters as well of that. I've got friends who work for Konami as well. Weirdly, they got a
Nice.
thing just down the road too.
Nice.
So I might tap them up for a code for that.
Nice.
But Devil May Cry as well. That's a heck of a game. Like the original one,
Hmm.
obviously the sort of like hacking the sort of speed of those games is
Hmm.
crazy. Um, and again, I think that's due a reboot as well. I think they just released a trailer either for a movie or for a game and had Rolling on it, which was mad. It was like Limp Bizkit. I'm like, what the? A red cap on.
Yeah.
Get back to go. I got baggy trousers, wallet chain. I'm there. But no, fantastic, fantastic games. But yeah, no, thank you for that, Izzy. Good luck with the album, everyone. I'm just gonna put it. It's gonna be March 21st, and it's just called Izzy Reign. It's self-titled, and it is gonna be. I'm gonna say it. It's gonna be magnificent. haven't heard it, but I've heard enough. And I do honestly, I love your music. It's like you're like one of like Fixed have a way of, I don't know what it is. There's a lot of bands on there, and
Yeah.
I love them all. But like, there's certain ones that I catch on to, and you're on my playlist. You're on my all that kind of stuff. So, um, hoping hoping one day it gets big enough for you to come play shows. Either I'll be traveling over to America at some point, or you just happen to be playing, or you come over to England or Europe, and we'll see what we can. But
Yeah.
obviously, along the way, I will be supporting and promoting where I can, maybe sharing posts, all the little things I can do that other people can do as well. The
Hmm.
free things they can do to help artists share, like, comment, all that kind of stuff. Uh,
All of it.
all of that. Join the Discords, the Discord.
Join join the Discord. I swear, it's
Yes.
like I said, if there's
Oh,
anything that's been the most detrimental, is join the Discord just because
yes.
it's so much fun. It's free.
I
It's
will
an
be.
experience for all.
I will be doing that shortly.
Yes.
Um, but no, thank you, Izzy. And yeah, like I said, good luck with it. I look forward to hearing the whole piece and speaking to you again some point in the future as well.
I'm sure.
Yeah, cool. Have a good rest of your day.
You, you
Thank you.
too.